The book of Ecclesiastes, Chapter 12. In studying this chapter, to consider what further counsel the preacher offers to the young, to note what happens to the spirit when the body dies, to hear the preacher's conclusion after his search for the meaning of life under the sun. The final chapter begins with a continuation of advice directed to the young. They are told to remember God in their youth before difficult days come in, which there will be found little pleasure. 12, verse 1. Remember also your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come and the years draw near, when you will say, I have no pleasure in them. Such days are described through a series of illustrations that depict the feebleness of old age and eventual death. 12, verses 2 through 4. Before the sun, the light, the moon, and the stars are darkened, and the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those who look out the windows are darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the street, when the sound of the grinding is low, and one shall rise up at the voice of a bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. When the inevitable happens, the body will decay back to dust, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. 12, verses 5 through 7. Yes, they shall be afraid of heights, and terrors will be in the way, and the almond tree shall blossom, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goes to his everlasting home, and the mourners go about the streets. Before the silver cord is severed, or the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher is broken at the spring, or the wheel broken at the cistern, and the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. The preacher brings his sermon to a close by restating his theme. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. 12, verse 8. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, all is vanity. An epilogue is added that informs the reader of the work the preacher continued to do after concluding his search for the meaning of life. Because of his wisdom, he still taught the people and sought to set in order many proverbs. He sought to find acceptable and upright words, words of truth. Such words of the wise and scholarly are described as goads and well-driven nails, given by one shepherd. 12, verses 9 through 11. Further, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yes, he pondered, sought out, and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written blamelessly, words of truth. The words of the wise are like goads, and like nails well fastened are words from the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. One is to be admonished by these words, yet be aware that there is no end to the making of many books, and much study is wearisome to the flesh. 12, verse 12. Furthermore, my son, be admonished. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Finally, we are told the grand conclusion of the whole matter. The preacher ends his search for meaning by concluding that the whole purpose for man's existence is to fear God and keep his commandments. 12, verse 13. This is the end of the matter. All has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. That is because God will bring into judgment everything we have done. 12, verse 14. For God will bring every work into judgment, with every hidden thing, whether it is good or whether it is evil. This concludes chapter 12 of the book of Ecclesiastes.